24th of August, 1972. We, the teenagers, were screaming inside for something, anything to happen. And music was where we were looking for signs of life. It was into this atmosphere that Roxy Music dropped their pop culture bomb on the British public. The sound was a shock to the system. Heavily treated electric guitars and the most out there synthesizer parts you'd ever heard. Psychedelic Sinatra, crooning pop art poetry over driving drums, over saxophones and oboes. The musicians themselves were dressed outrageously, each one with an individual, well-defined look. Put it all together, and what you got was pulp science fiction.
When Bryan Ferry and Graham Simpson formed Roxy Music in 1970, they weren't creating just any rock and roll band. Their now famous 1971 Melody Maker magazine ad asked for an original, creative, and scary guitar player to join their Avant Rock Group. Inspired by David Bowie, King Crimson, and the Velvet Underground, the ad teased the group's experimental sound. Roxy Music pushed listeners' perceptions about the essence of pop music. Their album art and stage dress were high fashion, ready to impress with its sense of modern style, elevating their music and aesthetic to new heights. Roxy Music's first two albums built an experimental roller coaster ride on the back of glam rock guitar chords. Their 1972 self-titled debut fused elements of fashion, cinema, art, and the avant-garde. On the opening track, Remake Remodel, Brian Eno's revolutionary synthesizer sounds poked through the fabric, while Ferry's soulful, detached vocals pulled you close. Songs like the Bob Medley are a postmodern trip into cinematic rock and roll dreams.
Make me a deal and make it straight. Or sign and seal, I take it to Robert.
Their first single, Virginia Plain, became a hit, reaching number 4 on the UK charts. Released shortly after their first album, the song showcased what would become Roxy Music's signature sound: a melodic artful sax, oboe, guitar, and synth over thundering drums. Ferry's crooning vocals helped drive the song, staking Roxy Music as an experimental powerhouse.
There's a new sensation.
Less than a year later, Roxy Music released their sophomore album, For Your Pleasure. The album built upon the wild instrumentals of the band's debut, featuring fan-favorite songs Do the Strand,
Do the Strand, love.
And In Every Dream Home, a Heartache.
But you blew my mind.
The albums Stranded and Country Life saw multi-instrumentalist Andy McKay and guitarist Phil Manzanera join the songwriting team. Eddie Jobson refined the group's experimental synth sounds while also contributing electric violin. The tracks Street Life and Out of the Blue were a polished mix of Roxy Music's daring instrumentals and pop hooks.
I don't mind if it's only a passing craze.
Their 1975 album Siren spawned the worldwide hit Love is the Drug, since featured in countless video games, TV shows, and movies. The drums and bass of Paul Thompson and John Gustafson built a soulful, funky beat.
Can't you see? Love is the drug for me.
It's easy to understand how a young Nile Rodgers was inspired to form Chic after seeing Roxy Music. Other artists, including the Talking Heads, U2, and Duran Duran, also paid attention, and Roxy Music soon became the catalyst that sparked the new romantic and new wave movements. Roxy Music transitioned into the 80s with 2 more records: the lush, lounge-style albums Flesh and Blood and Avalon. Released in 1982, Avalon saw the band end on a high note, with a pop tune-laden sound filled with the vast musical landscapes, both cerebral and emotional. The album's melancholy single, More Than This, alluded to the band's earlier extended instrumental breaks, with the title track Avalon following suit.
We'd like to thank everybody for this unexpected honor, and especially our fans around the world who've supported us over the years. Thank you. We'd also like to thank all the musicians who've played such an important part in the Roxy music story, especially Paul Thompson and Brian Eno. And thanks to all of you. Many, many thanks.
Roxy Music was an experiment that envisioned the future of rock and roll. They extended the accessibility of art rock and glam with Ferry's soulful voice and the band's pop sound. In doing so, they changed the course of music.
We're so far away. All your feelings I feel I won't share.